Hey, good evening, guys. It's Sunday evening, getting ready for a new week. It's Goose here. Here's my watch list coming up for Monday the 17th. Hope you guys have checked us out over at stocktraders.net. Got a whole team over there ready to help you guys out. Please, anything that I cover here, anybody, any of the mods, Ricky, myself, Titus, or Monaco could help you guys answer questions. We have a lot of helpful people in both rooms, the trading floor as well as the premium channels too. So please come check us out. Hopefully you guys like what I'm doing here with the watch lists. It's a little bit longer as on the weekends I have a few extra names. So I'm going to close this out. I want you guys to look at the disclaimer, just so you guys know I'm doing this fully for you guys. There's no solicitation in here, guys. These are names that I'm looking at that I find interesting. There's obviously names that are not included. I can't get them all. And I might not trade every one of the names I put up there. Obviously, it's impossible to trade everything. Sometimes I miss them, but I'm putting them all out there for you guys to see what I'm looking at. So this is just what I'm looking at, just for informational purposes. Please do your own homework and trade your plan, guys. With that all being said, I'm going to close this out, and I'm just going to go jump right into it here. So first of all, notice some action on KNDI on Friday. Sorry, getting my days back together here. And this is a real simple one for me. I'm just going to keep some of the simple ones simple. I'm looking for, I've noticed, that I think it was one of the CEO, there's been some insider buying in the name, but it's been real small. And what I'm looking at here, you can see how it acted when it pushed into on Friday, right into the 200-day, as you can see right here, guys. I'm looking for that action. I'm going to look to fade it off the previous highs, which is Friday's highs, right into the 200-day, or any push into the $6 number, which you could see is some prior resistance and a little bit of consolidation in there. So that's going to be my trade. Simple idea on that one is just going to be for a straight fade on it at 5.25 or into that $6 push, which is the whole number as well as that previous resist. Next one I'm going to come up to is going to be NVTA. This one's pretty simple as well. It's what I'm looking at in NVTA is actually the daily looks really nice of this. If you guys look as it bounced right off the 20-day, you can see this clear here and took off, and it really took off. I think it's getting a little bit extended, but it did close right above this prior resistance, so I think it might have a little extra energy on Monday, tomorrow. It also closed on highs, so that's a bullish sign for me. So I'm hoping that it gets a little extra legs, and what I'm looking for is to fade it off that monthly pivot area. I think I put in my notes, I'm going to look at all the whole numbers and see how it acts. I think it got that's a pretty big extension from where it came from, and especially if the market's heavy, I think we get it off 16, 17, and obviously right into this monthly pivot, which is 1760. So I will definitely look for a backside move on this. I don't need to be first in. I think there's going to be plenty of meat on the bone on NVTA, so I'll be waiting on that one as well. Let me switch over to PLAY. So PLAY, a couple thoughts on this is, first of all, from the long side, what I'm looking at, it had a nice clear, closed over this prior resistance, which is really nice. What I'm hoping for with PLAY is a potential retrace first thing in the morning back into this $59.50, $60 area. That'll be my first target. You see the prior resist was over here a little bit closer to 59. So I think my hope is that it comes right down into 59, 59.50. But if it wants to hold 60, which you could see, it's obviously closed up at 62, so it has to do some things. Obviously, I'm looking for a wash or something like that, or an imbalance at the open. So what I'd be looking for is some sort of pickup here and push back into either the monthly pivot or a little bit better. My next side of it's going to be is on the fade side, which is going to be right into, again, right into this 63 area, which is going to be or the previous high, excuse me, right into here. Or if it gets really crazy, extended up into this monthly pivot. But I think there'll be some good, there's some really good range in it on Friday, which sets me up for today, either buying a nice dip if it holds, or a little bit extra extension. And I think that usually that second day gives me a nice trade on those things. So that's what I'm looking for, and why play is on my watch today. OPK, let me get to one of the ones that you guys are probably scratching your head. It just came off a halt. The one thing I've learned about some of these that have come off halts is sometimes they have some crazy extended moves the next day. People trying to figure out what to do, whether they want to scoop some to add to their positions, whatever it is, but sometimes it gives them a little bit more volatility. So I'm going to look at OPK for two different things. First of all, the scary one for me is going to be the long, but I think, you can see this prior support area right here off this 360. I'm going to watch that, as well as right in this area, which is previous day's lows. and I want to see if it soaks there and holds, and you can see some bigger boys buying the stock. It might hold it and make a nice push. I'm hoping for a push. Keep in mind it came down from this five and a half $6 area, but you can see if you drag the chart back, where it came from even recent, most recently down at 3. So don't get oversold that this has to make this crazy bounce back up here if it starts pushing. I think anything pushing into this 475 or 5 area, I think could be a nice setup for a fade. You could see prior levels where it was, or even up in here at $5. So I think that any type of push into there, I think could set you up for a nice fade, even if there is some early morning buying in it. So I think there could be a really good trade in this stock. So I am going to have it on my radar, and I'm probably going to put a trade on with it. I'll be very, very cautious size-wise, just based on, the holds and all that type of stuff. But, from what I remember, and I have to go back, and it is Sunday night, so pardon me, but I don't think they really came up with any answers yet as far as what the halt was for. I know they were looking into it, but there's not been really a full response, I don't think, regarding the the relist, or coming off the halt, I should say. So let me just jump back into the next one. I'm going to be careful on OPK, I should say. So Momo is going to be one that I'm looking at. Momo is real simple. If you look at the trading from on Friday, it really held in there real well. I thought it was going to break out on Friday, not quite, but it actually, still did very nice trend, and it's setting up to me to have a little breakout on the daily and go test that $50 number. So I like Momo. Obviously, got to keep a look at the markets on it, but if the market's conducive, I'm going to look for a push through that 47.80 to $50 48 area for a push on 50, and that's what I'm looking for on a Momo. I don't think I'm going to look to fade this, even though it's come up from that 42 43 area. I was just by the action it's had over the last couple of days, the name's been really, really strong, so I just want to be wary of that. Next name, a little bit more interesting, is going to be NEO, NIO. I've been avoiding commenting on these names because of the range and all that, and I'll just tell you again, I'm putting this up there because I think there's a little bit more to say as in the NEOs and the PDDs, so I'm going to cover both of those today. But NIO, what I'm looking at on NIO is, you could see it was priced at I think it opened at 6. I think it was priced at 6.25. I'm going by memory, so look it up if you just to be sure. But I think that goes by my memory. I think that's about right. Had a big wash, then kind of pushed and had a major move, obviously the next day. If you draw the retrace on it, there's a couple areas of interest I have, and I'm looking at this only from the long side. I'm going to look for either a morning wash right down in this $9 area, the whole number, 60% retrace. Watch for a couple soaks, and I'll probably scoop something there going off those lows or recent lows, because I think I'm hoping for a little bit of a bounce. Second part of it about it will be is if it wants to hold this 960 to $10 area, we'll look for it to start a little long there and see if it wants to turn back up, because it's come down so much, and I'm thinking that if it wants to soak that $10 number and push right back through it, I want to have a starter position on, then I'll add to it as it confirms. So that's kind of what I'm looking at NEO and IO. Let me just jump over to PDD. And I'll end it with PDD. I think that was the last one I was going to put on there. So there's a couple things on PDD. First of all, from the long side, I'm looking from this right in this pocket right here. You can see I drew it on my charts, but this 2370 to 2420 area, you got the 60% retrace, you got the monthly pivot there. It's got to come down. I'm hoping for a big wash to bring it down or something. It's kind of that day 2 thing. Day 1 it kind of stuffed at that prior high, and it really closed on low. So I'm actually hoping that it comes down, and this would actually, as you can see, be the prior low from the day before. So I think that'd be Thursday's low probably. So that's going to be an area that I'm going to definitely look at taking a long on. And then the only other trade I see on this is if it wants to have some crazy push again in the morning, that $30 number is definitely going to intrigue me. As you can see, it's at prior day's highs, which is Friday's highs, as well as the whole number. Just be careful. These names have obviously given a lot more than we think they're going to give, and I know they've squeezed some folks, so just be real careful on these names. That's kind of why I don't like covering them, but I think they have some tremendous range, and I just want to give you a couple comments on them and how I'm going to play them on Monday if I end up taking the trades on those. So anyway, guys, hope you guys are liking the watch list. I'm trying to keep them to different names, not just the same names, AMD, Micron, whatever, just a couple different names here and there that maybe you're not looking at. I almost threw SunTrust on there. Well, I might be looking at SunTrust on Monday, but I want to keep this short, so I kind of kept it to like 7 names today. But if you guys like what I'm bringing to you guys, please make sure you're hitting the the like button on YouTube. tell your friends about us. Please come check us out at stocktraders.net. Doesn't cost you anything to come over to the free trading floor, introduce yourself, and see if you like the community. We have a great community, great team there, and hope you guys come and check us out. In the meantime, have a great rest of the evening, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate everything.